Everyone talks about what great finance business partners should be, but very few talk about what actually kills your impact. And that's a problem because most bad habits don't even look bad at first. They come from good intentions, being precise, protecting the company, being helpful, but over time, they erode trust. So let's go through the 10 behaviors I've seen hold back even the smartest finance teams, and more importantly, what to do instead. Welcome back! If you're new here, I'm Soufiane, and I share insights on how to become a finance professional people actually listen to. So make sure to hit subscribe in the button here below. Now, I've worked in finance business partnering for years, coached teams across industries, and I can tell you, the difference between being a cop and being a trusted partner is not related to how strategic you think or to how you work on your own laptop. No. It's mostly coming from what's more visible by others, the daily habits you show up with. Today, I'll walk you through the 10 behaviors that your business partners don't like. You think they're good, but no. They kill your impact on the short, but also on the long term. Some of these I've done myself, some I've suffered from colleagues, and others you'll instantly recognize. 1. Being a gatekeeper instead of a partner. Imagine this. A marketing manager comes to you with a great idea, and before they even finish their sentence, you hit them with, "No, sorry, it's not in the budget, so it's closed." You think you're protecting the company by covering the means available, but they think you're blocking the process. So what to do instead? Well, do it Simon Sinek style, and start with the why, and not your own why, but theirs. Ask what they're trying to achieve. You have to co-build the options. You'll still keep financial discipline, but without killing the relationship on day one. 2. Speaking in jargon. I remember when I arrived in one of my previous jobs, and I was completely amazed to see in the waterfall chart we had a bar named IFRS 15. Even I didn't know what IFRS 15 was. This was presented to all business units, from call center operators to the chief self. No wonder why our presentation didn't have much impact. Ratios, IFRS details, EBIT this, EBIT that. To you it's normal, to them it's another language. Translate numbers into a commercial or operational impact. So instead of saying IFRS impact, say the impact is spread on the customer lifetime. That's more understandable. 3. Challenging without listening. Imagine every time your colleague opened their mouth, you jumped in with, "Actually, that's wrong." Well, you'd be hit at parties, right? In business, it's just as bad. Correcting mid-sentence or even taking on every little detail makes you look like the finance cop. Listen like a coach. Get the full context. Then challenge the thinking. People are more likely to take your input seriously if they feel heard first. 4. Owning the budget like it's yours. I made the mistake early on as well. I acted like the budget was my money that I needed to defend. So when a business leader overspent, I treat it like they'd taken cash straight away from my wallet. But let's set things straight. It's not your budget. You're there to guide the process and give advice. When you shift from my budget to our plan, you stop being the watchdog and start being the navigator. 5. Reporting for the sake of reporting. You ever open the dashboard so packed with charts that you didn't even know where to look? That's what many finance teams deliver. And numbers with no direction don't mean a thing. I know that we have reports that have existed for years and even decades, but don't report just to report. Highlight what matters. And more importantly, what happens next. A report without a so what and a now what will lead to nowhere and end up in the virtual junk mail of your business partner. Now, before I go to the next behavior, if you're looking to get even more help, I created a free 7-day course called the Financial Storytelling Starter Pack. It literally contains the 7 most important learnings of my full course, and I'm giving it away completely for free. Just go to thefinancecircle.com/starterpack or click in the first link in the description to get it. Now back to the video. 6. Showing up only at month end. I know, we're busy and stuff, but if the only time our business leaders see you is when you're reviewing the results, guess what? You're more a controller than a partner. Partnership happens in the flow of decisions. Actually, before the results even are available. So show up in the project meetings, go to the weekly staff of your team you're supporting, be there when the choices are being shaped. That's when finance earns a seat at the table. 7. Trying to look smart instead of being helpful. That's a classic mistake. Someone's presenting their business case, everything is well prepared, and then finance interrupts to point out a small exception that will probably change 0.1% of the final result. Do you win the meeting then? No. You're probably right, but right doesn't mean useful. Nobody trusts finance because we know every single exception. They trust us when we help them think better. So drop the need to look clever. Aim to be useful. That's what earns influence. Now, 8. Micromanaging business inputs. I've seen finance teams literally rewrite business inputs line by line. It makes you feel in control and your model will probably be correct, but what it really says is, I don't trust you. Instead, coach the logic behind the forecast. Let the business own their number. And if you need to adapt the model or take shortcuts to it, do it. It will help. 9. Escalating before engaging. This is the fastest way to kill trust. Skip the team and go straight to their boss. Of course, you'll get higher attention, but you also get a reputation as someone who points fingers. And one little secret, even the bosses don't like it when their teams have been shortcutted. You start local. Have the hard conversation with your counterpart. If you do need to escalate, do it with context. And 10. Being only reactive. If you spend your whole week fixing fires, don't be surprised if nobody calls you for the long-term planning. I started getting more impact when I shared an analysis nobody asked for. If you bring your own agenda, your own insights, your own point of view on the long game, you stop being the firefighter and start being an architect. In many companies, you have business partners as a title, but in reality, you'll see controllers instead. And it's normal, nobody trains you to take that shift. But a simple step is to show up day after day with one new habit at a time. The 10 I told you about erode trust, but you can find ways to change that. Over time, that difference is massive. If you lead a finance team, start here. Clear out the behaviors that block you from being invited to the real conversations. That's where the real work begins. So that's it for today. And if you want to go further on financial storytelling, grab the free 7-day financial storytelling starter pack. It covers 7 lessons, from why storytelling is your most underrated skills, to how to adapt your story to different audiences, and what to say when you don't know the answer. Well, the first link is in the description. Join me and learn more. And if you want to train your team in financial storytelling and finance business partnering, well, contact me directly at Soufiane@theFinanceCircle.com. I see you in the next video.